What's up, fight fans? It's just Tana here from MMA Island, and today we're here with PFL finalist and Long Island's very own Chris Wade. Chris had a successful regular season with 2 wins, and the second one was a spectacular knockout, followed with a semifinal dominant win over Bubba Jenkins, which he won all 3 rounds and booked a spot in the finals. The finals will take place at the Seminole Hard Rock Cafe on October 27th. And he will fight Movlid Haibulaev for the $1 million and for the 145 belt. Thanks for being here, Chris. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me on.
How you doing, man?
Here.
Yep.
I'm doing good. I just worked out. I got back, jumped in the shower, and doing an interview with you, and then back to training again. So
awesome.
We're all business these days.
Yeah, so you're fully in the camp, right? So this is going to be your 4th fight in the PFL this season. So from fight to fight, you just go camp to camp just because of the short period of time. Is that true?
Yeah, dude, I've been in camp the entire year since because I didn't know what was going on for me, really. I signed pretty late with PFL. I was one of the last featherweights on, so I didn't know what was going on with me. I was training pretty consistently, going all the way back to legit February, March. That time I've been in it pretty solid.
So do you like this kind of schedule? I know you've been in the PFL now for 3 seasons, and before you used to fight 2 fights a night sometimes and this and that. Do you like this new system that the PFL has?
Yeah, this is the only way to go. 2 fights in one night is it's brutal. It's brutal just hormonally, really. It's the dump of all of your adrenaline and the dump of all the things that help you fight someone, those fight or flight responses that are very hard to re-trigger, re-warm up. And I don't think that that's really fair to get the best guys to move through, you know. Sorry, I'm getting attacked by bugs at my own house.
Yeah. Islip's all about the bugs, right?
No, I actually don't live in Islip. I don't live in Islip anymore. I grew up there, but I live close by. So,
all right. Gotcha.
But yeah, there's more bugs here than there were over there.
Mm-hmm. So do you like the consistency of the fight? So you're fighting almost every 45 to 60 days if you go far enough in the PFL.
I love this. My thing is especially we missed pretty much a whole year of fighting last year when I was in my prime, starting to be in my prime, So for me, it's let's go. Let's roll these fights and let's make some money and let's get some good matchups against tough guys that you can, those are I think the most important things to fighters when it's all said and done is who did you fight and how did it go?
Yeah.
Your
absolutely.
legacy.
And it's clear that you're in your prime. You've gone 3-0 this season and been pretty fucking solid in every aspect, so that's great.
Thank you.
And I was going to ask you, what do you think of your opponent, Movlid? He's obviously another wrestler, just like you are, but he has different roots. Not that he's better or worse, it's just a competitive, 2 competitive wrestlers going at it.
Yeah, I think this is I think the last fight that I had with Bubba is a really good it's a really good fight to have had as an opponent right before having to fight Movlid. Bubba is an athletic specimen. He's a top-notch grappler, top-notch wrestler who usually has his way with guys on the mat. You saw him even, kind of dominating Lance. Lance couldn't really get out. So he's very dominant. And what I'm looking to show is that I can do that if I want to anyone in the world right now at 145 pounds. That's what I'm aiming to show is that, yeah, Movlid is he's as tough as they come, and I have nothing but respect for him. But like I said, I think I'm in my prime right now. I'm just starting to figure out, finally, who I am. I have an identity in there, and I know what works for me, and I'm in really good shape now. I wasn't doing the cardio that I'm doing now to make 45, and I was slacking on some things in my career that I haven't opened up even about yet. One day, like, I'll talk about how, I don't know, content I was with, I guess, mediocrity,
Yeah.
and almost like wanting to get lost in the shuffle of things sometimes, because
Hmm.
I'm not really a person who likes to be like in the limelight that much. So, but that'll be for after my career. I'll tell all that, the things that kind of like, as an athlete, you battle and you fight against. But I'm in a I'm in a totally different mindset now. I'm embracing all of that, and I'm just ready to be like, I always wanted to be a champion. Um, it's been years since I was the champion of an organization, especially like a world champion in a league like this. So this is just an absolute must for my legacy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm loving the confidence that you have, the mindset you've changed, and yeah, if when you retire and I'm still around, and if you'd like me to host that interview too, I'd love to do that.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that I hear like dribs and drabs of from other fighters and
Hmm.
other athletes that doesn't come out because we're all like, we're all tough guys and we're all fighters and we're all fighting each other. But we're very much the same when it comes down to it.
Yeah, that's cool that you bring that point up. I mean, it's just interesting to think about not just your story, but just other fighters and everything. You mentioned Bubba Jenkins. Why was there animosity between you guys? You usually seem respectful, and you just go for business, and then like fight, and then you're done with it. But a lot of the lead up, there was a lot of back and forth between you and Bubba. What was that all about?
I I was confused. I didn't even know that there was any beef, and then like, I guess, you know we're getting booked and booked and booked with these interviews before big fights, and you're talking to people like you and I are speaking
Yeah,
uh, multiple times a week, and every single one of them ask you, how do you think the fight's going to go? And listen, did I not call it exactly how it was? Did
yes,
I
you
not?
did. Yes, you did.
I I told everyone that, I mean, maybe with the exception of like, I genuinely did think that I was going to TKO him eventually,
Yeah,
and that happens to me sometimes. I get too caught up in like certain submissions and chokes and stuff
yeah,
because they're work. But when I go to that and I don't get the finish, then it distracts me from the ground and pound and stuff like that. But I called it. I was just being honest. I was like, I saw a guy who like kind of wrestled 2 rounds and then hung out in the third round because he looked a little tired, and he took offense to that, and it started this whole like big thing of how what he was going to do to me and how I'm a nobody.
yeah.
And I just
And do you enjoy that kind of thing, or do you just prefer it to be we go in there, we fight, and we're a little more respectful than you were with Bubba, and just back and forth, not just you, not just him, both you guys.
it I mean, it's not something that bothers me. I'm like, it actually motivates me. I think he did himself a disservice talking like that, because they hope guys like that hope um that it can like shake you mentally, that it can make you like a lesser fighter, and that it will help them. They genuinely like believe some of the stuff that comes out of their mouth, but it's like a for me, I see it as weakness. Like, you see Connor do that stuff like that.
Yeah,
I see it as like almost like insecurity bubbling through, and a way to mask or hide like your true feelings. If you're
yeah,
really confident, like Movleed, me and him are gonna fight. I can tell you, he's confident in himself. He's very quiet. He's humble. He's
yeah,
not. He doesn't like fear anybody. He's gonna do what he does and try to win. When you talk a lot like that, I think that sometimes it means you're hiding some fear.
yeah. That's an interesting way to look at it. And it's also tough to talk shit to someone who can barely understand you. So for him to speak to you in Russian and English, so that's another
Right?
thing as well. But yeah, I do remember once the semifinal fights were done for you guys, you and Movlead, we were all hanging out in the same section. I don't know if you remember that. It was pretty
Yeah.
late, and you guys are very like nice to each other, respectful, and professional for the most part. So
Oh yeah,
yeah,
before we both went out, we were in the same locker room warming up, and I just wished him luck, and I told him to
yeah,
the guy, meaning Brandon. Like I was genuinely wanted him at that time to be successful. I'm
yeah,
closer than I am with Brandon, but now it's just nothing personal. It's just my
yeah.
goals, my actions, my life that I want versus what he wants.
Yeah, I remember after your second fight when you got the knockout, you were saying stuff like "Where are you, mate?" or something. You were implying that kind of stuff at Brendan, and then you fought Bubba. So Bubba and Brendan were the big talk of the town when the first what do you call the regular season was going on. That they're gonna make it to the finals. They're gonna see each other. How do you feel just beating one of them and then seeing Movlid in the final, not even Brendan?
I have mixed feelings about it because I didn't when guys talk, like I'm one of those guys that I genuinely want to compete against them so that I could show them that I'm a different person than some of the people that they think they're comparing me to mentally.
Mm-hmm.
I am a grappler, like at my core, but I didn't initiate any of that grappling with Bubba Jenkins. If you go back and watch
Yep.
the fight, he's the one who decided he didn't want to be on his feet anymore because of whatever was taking place. So me and Brandon could have had a really interesting fight because in my mind, I can do whatever I want to him, just like Movlid did. If I want to win the fight, he's not a hard fight in that regard because you can just choose as a wrestler with it's like rock paper scissors. Like, oh, he's a good boxer, okay, but he can't stay off his back. He's just there the whole fight. But I could have also chosen to have like a really nasty striking face fight with him, and I
Yeah.
think it was really exciting for the fans. So
All right. Maybe next season we get to see something like that. That'll be
yeah,
fun.
maybe that would be cool. He's a great fighter,
Yeah, he
He's
is.
he's such a tough dude, and he genuinely like another guy that really believes in himself. So
Yeah, and he has a cool story as well. Like you said, not just you, but other fighters have been dealing with
yeah,
things, and
they all have
he's
like
definitely
great.
one of them.
So many of these guys and girls have great stories that are just like, if you just sat down to hear them, you'd be amazed why
Yep.
they're here, how they're here, gotten this far.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing I wanted to ask you was, when did you decide to make the cut from 155 to 145? You had success at 155, but you couldn't get over that hump of making the finals.
Yeah,
So when did you decide to cut that weight? Because you're huge at 145.
yeah. Not until right before the season started. It was basically a situation where that was kind of where my opportunity was. And it's something that my team and I have always spoken about since the UFC days. My first UFC fight, they asked me if I could make 45 after the fight. And I was under like this notion of like, definitely not. I'll never try to do that because I felt like I wrestled at 174 in college. I wrestled at 157 as a freshman, 165 as a sophomore, and then I that's where like when Bubba was running his mouth and stuff, I was a I was a national finalist in college too, just JUCO, and the guy who beat me was Covington. So I didn't lose to a slouch. There's a
Yeah,
reason that I'm a national champion, and it's because Colby's probably a little bigger than than I am,
yeah.
and I wrestled him up at 65. He's fighting at 70
70
now.
now. Yep,
I'm
absolutely.
fighting at 45.
Yep.
So we're probably just a little bit different sized.
Yeah.
Uh, but anyway, and then the next year I went 74 and was an All American at 174. So I mean, making 45, I'm feeling this like this power difference. Even strong guys like Bubba's a really strong guy, but when I grabbed him, I could feel like there was a strength difference.
Yeah, that's awesome. How hard is it for you to cut down to 145?
It's very, very hard. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
I
lie.
can imagine.
Like it sucks. it's 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 a big commitment. Like I'm sitting at like 5.5 weeks out right now or so, or 5 weeks, and I need to like I'm basically starting everything now, like the decline back down.
Yeah. And what do you usually walk around at, if you don't mind sharing? And what do you weigh on the day of the fight, if you don't mind sharing?
I'm pretty big. I'm a
But
I'm a I'm pretty much a welterweight at that point.
all right. Well, you haven't missed weight, so that's a great thing. Obviously, it's hard, but
I'm not gonna miss weight.
yeah,
I
you're
mean,
3 for 3, and
we're here. I'm 3 for 3. Got to
yeah,
make it. The
yeah,
scale ain't me. I'm too tough
yeah.
for that.
That's awesome. Good to hear. Um, I was gonna say, yeah, you train at Long Island MMA. How's that going?
Island MMA is it's been home for me since the start. It's amazing. Um, Ryan and I linked up early on in my career, and we all became Ryan, and I all became really close pretty quickly. I could tell that I just vibed with them and the kind of people they are. Obviously, they're fellow Long Island too, but it was just like a relationship with them where I knew right away that I felt comfortable there, and it was a place that I wanted to stay. And I aspired to like always own a gym because of them, what I saw, and with that finally came true. Like 4 years ago or so, we opened up a spot in my hometown in Islip. It's our first location, so the ride with them has been awesome. We have a really young team of guys right now that I'm kind of like I'm the like become the veteran, the vet of the group when I go in. Like Dennis Bermudez has retired. He's just living locally now and doing other things. And Ryan LaFleur retired soon after him, but he's still in coaching, but he doesn't roll anymore. And so I'm like the last one. But me and my one other teammate, Hugh McKenna, were the last of that whole generation and first crew. So we joke all the time about these young guys that are like giving us hell on the mat.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm telling you, soon, like within the next few years, I really feel like we're going to be breaking out into the pro scene, because all these guys are just turning pro right now, and they're all like very, very good.
That's awesome. Good to hear that Long Island has another gym that has so many good fighters. And if you win that $1 million, would you use it to open up more gyms, or what would you do? Because you said that was one of your goals.
Well, when I win, what am I going to do with the money? I'm probably some different things than that. I mean, we already have the one gym, so I'm not really in a rush to push that to multiple locations. I've seen other people do that on the island, and it's really tough to do. It's hard to spread yourself thin like that unless you have a lot of instructors that are high quality.
Right.
And so no, man, I've been around successful people, carefully watching around here what they do and what makes them successful. And you got to have money to make money. So just having that money we're going to have some fun, but we're going to change our lives by getting our money to work for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds like a good plan. And when you retire, do you still when the time comes, do you plan on continuing to coach?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I don't know where I'll be at. I want to be in the sport. I love the sport. I don't know if I'd like to like maybe coach and manage some fighters. And I really think that the next step for our sport and for our athletes is to become a union, just like Major League Baseball, just like Major League Soccer, just like professional basketball, the NFL. They all have players unions. We've been held down and told that we're not able to be a union because of the contracts that a lot of us are in. That's just since the start, the lawyers wrote up everything in favor of the promoter and the promotion, and they're very unjust. They're very one-sided. They're just shit contracts, and it's time to soon. When I'm done fighting, I know for a fact I'm going to be a big part of making the next generation of fighters more wealthy, more secure, pensions, benefits. It's enough of this bullshit. We're professionals at the highest level. We're highlighted on ESPN. Pro athletes come to see us. They come to watch us. We're their entertainment. And I'm not saying it doesn't go back and forth. I love to go to other sporting events too, but we deserve our fair share.
That's freaking awesome that you have that stance and you're going to work on it as well. A lot of fighters would appreciate it, and I'm sure you would too. And it is a tough business. The owners have a lot of not like control, but even financial control over the fighters, which is unfair. And like every other sport, I hope MMA gets that union and some fair share of their, earnings basically, because you guys put on the show, you guys are the main attraction. So you guys should take home the big piece of the pie too. So
it's got to be 48-52 or it's got to be like 49-51, something like that first. That's the only thing to come to the table about. There is no that right now you're looking at like a down the middle, like most people are saying it's around 18% to the fighter, and that leaves what 82%
82, yeah.
with the company. You are not that big of a deal at the end of the day. Like, yeah, you did a lot, but without all these athletes, you're absolutely nothing.
Yeah, it's just like in football, we're not going to watch Roger Goodell. We're going to watch Brady and all the other guys who actually play.
It's not just the sport and
Yeah.
the NFL suddenly became all the roster from the CFL switched over to the NFL. How long do you think that would last before people stopped watching?
Mm-hmm.
It would happen pretty quick.
Yeah.
Because the level of play is down. Like the best of the best play at the top in the NFL. That's what makes them so great. If all those players left, then it would fall apart.
Yeah, I 100% agree, and I hope things will start moving in the right direction. It's awesome that you bring that point up.
It will. Yeah. It's only a matter of time, and it's a matter of just persistence and people pushing the message. But yeah.
Yeah. All right, final questions. What's your prediction for this fight?
My prediction is just that I'm going to be wearing that belt at the end of the night. I will be wearing that belt.
That's fantastic.
All
right. That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Chris, for the time, and it was good to see you again, as always.
It's always good to talk to you. It's good to see you. I didn't expect it would be us today.
All right. And, hopefully you can get on more, and I'll be there for the finals, so we'll see each other again. And it was good to see you, man.